Hey, everybody. I hope you're enjoying your day at the ASI Digital Expo. I have been really enjoying watching the robust commentary going on in the chat. So I think it's great that everybody is so engaged. And certainly Carrie's presentation was fantastic in her Q&A with Tim. So thanks for everybody who made time to participate in that. We have a special treat right now for you guys. And what's coming up is ASI's social media manager, Melissa Newman, who we love, love, love. And she's going to be interviewing ASI's chairman, Norman Cohn. And that'll be a chat that really crosses across, different generations and different perspectives and is super, super interesting. Norman has been involved in the promo industry since high school. And the Cohn family has owned ASI since the early 60s. And Norman has remained deeply involved in the industry, in the company. When we were back in the offices, there were many a time that he would come by my office and, ask me if I heard news that was going on in the European market. Most of the time I had not, so he always scoops me. But it's going to be a great interview. Melissa, on the other hand, joined us just about a year ago, and she has been phenomenal. What an addition to our team. And we just love where she has taken our social media initiatives. She's been really, really great. So without further ado, take it away, Norman and Melissa.
Hey everyone, it's Melissa Newman. I'm ASI Social Media Manager, and I am joined today by ASI Chairman Norman Cohn. How are you doing today?
I'm looking forward to this interview because I haven't had a chance to talk to our employees nearly as much as I traditionally do, or of course, with no trade shows since February, a real trade show, not the virtual. I haven't had a chance to visit with our members either. So I'm looking forward to this very much.
Me too, because I know we're going to talk about the future of promo and some of your thoughts on that. So I'm super excited. So that being said, you've had a prolific life and career. What do you think of the current state of the promo industry?
Melissa, you're very kind to describe my career as prolific. A more honest comment is that I've been in this industry, the ad specialty promotion products industry, 70 years. I started out as a distributor salesperson when I was a senior in high school. I eventually became a supplier. Our family once, many, many, many years ago, was the largest supplier in the industry. Don't be impressed. The industry was far smaller in those days than it is today. And then for most of my life, working life, I've been involved in ASI. What's happened with the industry has happened before. During depressions and other occasions, there have been significant changes. For example, this year, or more accurately, last year, 2020, the industry was down $5 billion in sales. You might say, wow. Many people don't even believe the industry is doing in its best year $5 billion. Not true. Doing $20+ billion. Wow. But in any regard, the point is that there have been times in the industry's history where we had a bigger percentage. Last year, the industry was down about 20% in total sales. Some distributors and suppliers were up from the previous year. Most weren't. And we would have been down a lot more, except we are an industry of small family businesses. There's some big ones, but basically small family entrepreneurs who were able to pivot. And if you'd have said to me, Melissa, back in January, we should look into face masks, energizers, and floor mats, I hope I would have been polite, but I thought to myself, well, Melissa doesn't really understand what our industry is about. But you'd have been right, because those that pivoted to those items have had a pretty good year. And that's why our industry is only down 20% last year compared to 2019. I think more importantly, I believe the future is going to be great. And you might say, well, what makes the future great? My experience over many years has taught me not that just we're resilient and the other good things, but that the most important part is that advertising specialties, promotion products work. In other words, a end buyer, a customer who spends $10,000 on promotion products has got a lasting remembrance and advertisement of his name. My favorite example, if you're with a giant company that can afford a Super Bowl ad, this year's Super Bowl next month in Tampa, Florida, a 30-second ad costs you $5.5 million. And just before your 30-second ad is someone else's, and just after your 30-second ad is someone else's. So you can understand how little retention there is in that small ad, where with ad specialties, there's great retention. They do work. And that's why our industry has grown. And as I like to say, the best is yet to come.
I like that. And I feel like, honestly, you're echoing the same sentiment that I've heard by other promo professionals, is that, there's lots of challenges ahead, but they're remaining optimistic. So one of the things that I absolutely love about you is I feel like you're so infused into the company. You're always out at trade shows, you attend company events, you have virtual happy hours with us. And it's just always like a pleasure to see. But I know that you've had to stay home to protect not only your health, but the health of your wife and then also your family. So that being said, what has staying home taught you about yourself?
Well, that's a good question. It's taught me a couple things. I've been married to my wife, Suzanne, for 55 years. And each day that I've been in quarantine, and I've not been out of our apartment except to get the first shot because of my age for the pandemic and for a flu shot since March 11th. And so during all that time, my wife has had to clean, sanitize, cook, and all the other things about worrying about me. And boy, is she good at it. And one of the luckiest days, if not the luckiest day in my life, and I've had plenty of lucky days, was when I met her 56 years ago in Athens, Greece, and was lucky enough to convince her to marry me. So that's one thing I've learned about myself. The other thing I've learned about myself is that technology, even though I'm probably the least technical person that you'll interview ever, at least involved in our business, is able to enable our industry to grow and enable us as individuals to have conversations with our fellow employees, our family, and I think those are very significant, important things.
Oh, I love that. And honestly, I think that, again, you speak to a common trend is people are the plus side of maybe this pandemic is people realize how, or reminded how valuable family is, and that tech has been kind of the saving grace for our industry and keeping us all connected, still doing business, getting new business. So we're entering Q1 and there's definitely a focus on recovery. But if there's any advice that you would have for our suppliers and distributors, our ASI members, from your life in the promo industry, any kernel of wisdom or advice that you think you can give them that could help them at this moment, what would you say?
I think the most important thing that I have learned over the years and that I would pass on is that promotion products work. In other words, what our industry produces and sells is helpful to other businesses. Personally, I think the first half of the year, we will not be necessarily better than the last year after the pandemic hit us in March or April. However, I feel very confident the second half of the year will be up over last year. And more significantly, 2022 will be back ahead of, or at least equal to, what 2019 was, which is the best year this industry ever had. And I really believe that for many reasons. you may find it difficult to realize the growth our industries had. We were down last year in sales, $5 billion. Most people don't believe our sales are even 5 billion, but that's factually proven. It's the biggest number we've been down ever, but not the biggest percentage.
Right.
But I'll share with you, if I may, one quick story.
Of course.
Many years ago, Congress was thinking of putting a limit on the deductibility of business gifts. I testified in front of Congress on behalf of the industry. And a senator said to me, Mr. Cohn, how much does your industry do? What volume? To be honest, don't pass this on, we did not have a clue. ASI did not have any of the great concepts of learning about these things in those days. However, I wouldn't let the senator know that I didn't know. So I said to him, Mr. Senator, our industry does $300 million. He said, wow, that's a lot. I said, yes, sir. I want to tell you the truth. If my mother comment about telling the truth was accurate, I would have a very long nose. Fortunately, it wasn't. And of course, what was exaggerated many years ago to be a $300 million industry is now, last year, after losing $5 billion, a $20 billion industry, all because promotion products work.
Wow, that's incredible. So the Cohn family has owned ASI since the 60s. Is there like a secret sauce to owning a business as a family?
I wish there was, or I wish I could discover it. The number one thing I learned from my father is hire smarter than you are. Tim Andrews, who's our president and CEO, and our 400 approximately ASI employees are smarter than I am, and that's the truth. I'm maybe luckier, but they are smarter. And the second thing he taught me was, listen. He used to say to me, if you want to hear what you want to hear, look in the mirror and talk to yourself. So what that really means is that you need to surround yourself with people who are going to be comfortable to share with you what they believe the facts are, not just when they hear what you think they are, say, gosh, you're the boss, so you must be right. I've been wrong many, many times over the years. I've been lucky many times, which I suppose is just as good. But in any regard, those are the two things. The other thing that I learned from my father, two of our children, Stephanie and Matthew, are third generation in the business. We love the business as a family. We hope never to go public, because when you go public, you have to worry about what your next quarter earnings are. The market's going to punish you. And that's not our style. We have 10 grandchildren. 7 of them have been interns during the summer. And we hope that this business and our family's involvement will be for many years. We love the industry. We love the people in the industry. And we're proud to be part of it. So I'm not sure that's secret sauce, but it is representing the principles and the culture that ASI has.
No, and I think you hit the nail on the head. I think it's why everybody loves to work at ASI and why we have so much longevity. It's the culture that you and your family have cultivated over the years for everybody. So the most important question I want to ask you, because I know inquiring minds want to know, is what's the last TV show or movie that you've binged?
Melissa, if you'd have asked me this question last January, a year ago, before we were voluntarily quarantined, I would have said to you, I watch TV an hour a day, which is the cable news channel, and that's pretty much it because I have so much to do. However, I'd be less than honest if I didn't say to you that my wife and I, after dinner, which she cooks, and she is a great cook, we have watched a tremendous amount of cable streaming television. Far more than I would like to admit, but I have. And of all the shows that I've seen, two I'd highly recommend. One is called A Place to Call Home on Netflix. It's set in Australia. My wife is a Holocaust survivor, but grew up in Australia until I rescued her from there. She hasn't necessarily agreed she was rescued. And the other one is Gilmore Girls. Both shows that we have enjoyed. I recommend them. Be interested in anybody else's ideas on shows that we should watch or that we would enjoy watching.
All right. Well, guys, you got to put in recommendations in the chat for Norman. So for TV shows, he should queue up next. Well, thank you so much for your time today. It's lovely. A pleasure as always. Thank you for being so generous with your time and your insight. I appreciate it.
Well, Melissa, I'd like to end with two things.
Of course.
First of all, hug your family, and realizing that in today's 6 feet apart kind of concept, hugs may be a little difficult, and particularly on technology, Teams or Zoom, whatever you're using, is difficult. But I believe that's significant. Second thing, God bless America. We are lucky that we are living in a country and this industry, you can have a dream and develop that dream to almost anything you want. So thanks to all the distributors and suppliers and to everyone who has made this industry so special. Thank you, Melissa.
Oh, and thank you so much, Norman, for that. And thank you for your time. All right. I'll catch you later. Take care.
Bye, Melissa.
Bye-bye.